it's been ages since another Dragon Quest came out. I only have experience with Dragon Quest VIII, and I think that was Journey of the Cursed King on PS2. Absolutely amazing. I'm going to be reviewing Dragon Quest XI today, and it's going to be a lot shorter than that Tales of Berseria one. Here's what you need to know. I played games like Resonance of Fate, which was on the Xbox 360. I played Final Fantasy IV. I played a lot of the Neptunia series. What else? I've also played Tales of Vesperia, Tales of Berseria, and now Dragon Quest XI. So, that being said, let's get into it. Considering where we came from on the PS2, I gotta say, I am far from disappointed. Look at Dragon Quest VIII. And now back here. Look at number 8. And now back here. Whoa! But nothing got me more than the opening FMV. Now, some people seem to dislike the graphics due to the distance issues in the rendering. Now, you can see here I had to kind of look around for a bit until I found one, but I can see it's not always great in terms of render distance. But this didn't seem to stick out as a problem for me during most of my playthrough, and to be honest, I can kind of forgive it. This is the PC version as well, so it's likely maybe this had issues that other platforms did or didn't. I don't know. Akira Toriyama was the graphical designer of the monsters in this game, much like Dragon Quest VIII, and it really does not disappoint. Even though there were some lazy colour changes to signify a different monster strength, it was still bright, colourful, and just overall pleasing. The cinematography in both the scenes and the in-game roam around make for some really good screenshots, I must say. But there was some issues with the character expressions. It was just... there was sometimes a bit wooden. Something shocking could happen and they would just kind of... they would be like this. Oh no. And the eyes would only just widen just a little bit. Alright, that's it, next one! Thanks to the innovative menu, navigation's now pretty easy and it's very user-friendly. Although, the menu design could have been a bit better in terms of subheadings. I mean, miss? Really? You're gonna use that for all these things that entail that in there? Really? Okay! So the tension system is removed, and that was a thing since Dragon Quest VIII, or probably a bit earlier, I'm not too sure. Something called being pepped up has been brought in, and if multiple characters can get pepped up at the same time, then you can access some special moves, which usually work well. But because the pep system's so random, it does seem to work 50-50. But when it comes when you're landing a nasty boss fight, it can really help you. But I'm quite neutral on this. Also, some powers help you get some extra slimes. Metal slimes. The little side quests you can do are sometimes helpful and they're sometimes not. I wasn't too fussed about it until the end because I wanted to just have all the quests over and done with. You can forge items on this game, armor, equipment, weapons. This is different to the alchemy pot in Dragon Quest VIII because it disallows for free crafting. You need the recipes if you want to make something. Wait, so are you saying to me, John, that I can't just guess a random combination with the forging pot and make something totally random? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. You need the recipe, you need the ingredients, duh. So it encourages you to look around. It can really add to your playtime. It's an okay feature. In terms of the combat, it's really good, it's fair, it's well balanced. Not many moves were OP, although there were some. It's free roam, so you don't engage in combat unless you attack an enemy, or they attack you. You can also activate the Draconian quest before you start a new game, and it could add challenge in a variety of different ways. It works mostly well. Skill trees and getting abilities are quite good, but it was nothing noteworthy. But the post-game. It's quite interesting, but it seems like they kind of ran out of ideas, especially with the revamped bosses and just sort of other things that seemed a tad bit unnecessary and almost rushed. I don't know. Oh, sorry. The soundtrack in this game is pretty good, but I'm mostly referring to the revamped orchestral stuff, and this has been a bit of a debate, so let's try and take this easy. The original OSTs are very MIDI sounding, probably due to its attempts to keep the game true to its roots. Unfortunately, this hinders the franchise's music in Dragon Quest XI. It's no use me just giving you my opinion without having you listen to it. I'm going to play you a couple of previews, so here is the first preview. Now here's a second sample. Okay, and here's the fourth sample, four, possibly three, because I lost track because I'm stupid. Look, they're not all bad, but for the most part, I don't like the original soundtrack. I cannot recommend the orchestral mod enough. Fortunately, this is why I went on PC. Now you might be thinking, alright John, well is there any MIDI OSTs that you enjoyed from the original? Yes! It's the Hotto theme. Now listen to it in the orchestral version. It sounds good either way. In contrast to Tales of Berseria, I couldn't relate to the characters a great deal. So, straight away, I just didn't have the connection with the characters really, except for Rab later on in the story. The main character was okay. As usual, he was silent, which is a Dragon Quest trope. However, his voice acting was the thing that got me the most. He is pretty damn wimpy. Alright, seriously game, how do you expect to take the bloody protagonist seriously when he only has a bloody wimpy voice? Rab, on the other hand, was the most sentimental, and I could kind of relate to his emotionality as well. It was clear where his motivations lie. It wasn't just out of nowhere. There was clear build-up, and you could see how his present actions were affected by his past, or by his future concerns. I did like Rab. He was funny, he was kind of down to earth, and he was such a lovely father figure. Jade's immediate story was thrown on us as soon as we met her, and I would say the beginning was much better than the endings when it comes to this character. There was little development, and in the place where it did happen, it just didn't seem to feel right. It was quite lackluster. Although, Jade is quite the looker, I won't lie.
Calm down, son. It's just a drawing, not the real thing.
Veronica was a very strong personality. I quite liked her character. Despite me getting annoyed a million times, it was actually quite interesting to have her around and to just kind of have her pitch into most conversation, as annoying as she was. And you could just see that she secretly cared, but it was done in a sort of a nice kind of way. This goes for all the characters. Sometimes the jokes just really fell flat for me personally.
But it could be worse. I mean, you know what they say. You're only young. Twice.
Now, as for Eric, he seemed to instantly warm to the protagonist here, although I appreciated having kind of a right-hand man. The only part where his character develops is in a certain part near the end game, and it just kind of... I don't know, it seemingly came out of nowhere. Sylvando's character was quite entertaining, and I was worried he was going to be a static character. Fortunately, he does have his moments, which served him fairly well. Serena is probably my second favourite character, with the first being Rab. Her progression was by far the best in the main bit. It was phenomenal. I cannot believe they took a risk like that. But then the game almost seems to undo that, and it sucks for it. Serena is simply adorable. Oh, she's lovely.
Calm down.
The story in Dragon Quest XI is nice and hopeful. It's similar to Dragon Quest VIII, and I imagine it's similar to the other Dragon Quests as well. There's nice use of lore, including legends and other surprises along the way. There's some unexpected twists as well, and it really brings out how attached you are to some of these characters. The last few chapters felt a bit extra, and it kinda looked like it tried too hard. What ended up happening was that you just had too much information to deal with, and it just caused a lot of fatigue in my head. You know, on a real note, this game gets a bit dark, and it's not like Tales of Berseria dark, but it does take some dark turns, and honestly, I could respect that. And in hindsight, Dragon Quest VIII had its dark moments too. There was some graphic impalements and stuff like that, and with this game, there's a dark turn to the story. What I'm saying is, I do like the risk that it took, not only with unexpected turns, but also because of the darker elements to the story too. I can really appreciate that. I don't personally replay a lot of JRPGs, and because this story is quite thorough, and it was longer than Tales of Berseria, for example, I don't think I'll be replaying this again. There isn't much of an incentive to replay it. I would just continue with the post-game and probably get all of the achievements, but as it stands, I just can't bring myself to pass it all just yet, to be honest with you. Maybe this is a bit much for a Dragon Quest game, but I would have liked a romantic subplot. But you better believe that I'm talking about these two. Everyone agrees, so make it happen, squad. Yeah, I think it really would have fleshed out some of the characters and added interest to what was already a nice, long narrative, you know? You know, you can sing about Rab with this theme song. Listen. Mustache Man. Mustache Man. Typically, this game would have taken you about 60 to 100 hours to complete. Probably a bit quicker if you skip some stuff. Mine took me 239 because I decided to do hard mode with the Draconian quest. So rest assured, I've spent enough time with Dragon Quest XI. What does this game get out of 10? All things considered, this gets 8.3 out of 10. Yep, that's right. Good points. Good story which took risks. Good gameplay. Graphics are fantastic. Bad points. Post-game was meh. Regular soundtrack sucks. Characters' progression kind of hindered. With Audible, you too can listen. Just kidding, we don't do that here.
We don't do that here.
I'm not popular enough to get a sponsor like that. If you haven't checked out my Tales of Berseria review, the link's going to be down there, down and right. Yeah, it's going to be somewhere. I'll be doing more in the future. If you have any suggestions, please leave any comments. What did you think about Dragon Quest XI? Was it good? Was it meh? Do you disagree with me? Do you totally agree with me? Do you have anything you would like to add? Throw it down in the comments if you'd like. Go ahead. I'm always around. I'm always looking at the comments. I'm always responding. So, go ahead. Go do it now. Ah, yeah. Here's some outtakes. Try not to laugh too much at me. Okay, but I'm not perfect. Jade is quite the looker, I won't lie. And... Alright, I won't be doing that again. So actually, just kidding. We don't do that here. We're not popular enough to. Wait. So I can't. You saying to me, John, that I can't. Wait. So. Whoa.